What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a couple of months. We took a break. We are back, but I'm super excited. Our favorite sport is 2 months away. It's never too early to start thinking about either your season-long draft or thinking about your NFL DFS Week 1. So do want to welcome you guys either for the first time, welcome you back. If you have questions, please get this down below. Now, you've probably figured out what this video is about due to just obviously you clicked on it, so there's that and the title of the video. But I'm super excited to bring you guys some NFL content. We're going to break down each division and each team. So as you can see, this is the first of many videos that we're going to be doing leading up until kickoff for the first week. We're going to be checking out the Kansas City Chiefs, and as of right now, I've even got the Week 1 matchup tool ready to go. It's obviously just a lot of work with stats, so we will be going through this the Chiefs depth chart just to kind of see. Obviously, with adding another game this year, it's even better for us. We got more DFS, more fantasy football. But we've actually we've got stats to go over. So that's super excited. We have all the stats from last year compiled into our matchup tool. So while we go through the depth chart, we're going to look at that as well. We're going to see which teams have the best matchups and everything. Eventually, probably leading up to a couple weeks before the season kicks off, we will go through and we will dig in a little bit more into this matchup tool. Now, this matchup tool is a living document. It will be able to be updated. It's not on the website yet. I will be getting that up on the website. The thing is, we still haven't had training camp. We still haven't, the depth chart is here now. This obviously can change. Injuries can and will happen. They are shortening the preseason, which is a plus. No one really wants to play in the preseason anyway. DFS people love to play it, but Mahomes is going to go out there. He's going to throw the ball one time, and that's it. So, going to be a huge series here, and hopefully you guys stick around for everything. Really exciting things we've been doing behind the scenes. A lot of things are going to be going. We're going to have going to be doing a draft guide if you guys are interested in that. We're going to have an early bird special on the website. For $10, you're going to get everything that we have to offer there. So if you're interested in that, hit that like button. If you can get this video to I think we get 50 likes on each of these videos. That would help me out immensely. Took a break, took a breather for the past 2 months, had a really good summer so far, and I've been digging into NFL, so we're super excited. I've never dug in 2 months in advance, so I'm real excited to figure out. I have 2 months to figure out which lineups I want. Obviously, we don't have the lineups yet on FanDuel or DraftKings. Hopefully those will drop soon, probably more so in August. But going to be able to get a player pool that I'm really excited about. So without further ado, if you guys are interested in, and I put a video out before, but if you guys are interested in a season-long Yahoo Fantasy League for fantasyteamadvisors.com, let me know down below. Just say you are here. And you can always email me, support@fantasyteamadvisors.com. We've done it in the past. We didn't do it last year because there wasn't enough people that wanted to play. They didn't know if the season would get underway. But it was 2 years ago. It was $100 buy-in. We can do anywhere between 50 to 100. I'm looking to get more leagues this year. So without further ado, let's jump into one of the best, if not the best teams in the NFL. And there's a reason why. So looking at the depth chart, just right now, we've got, now these are the players, and you'll see this on our matchup tool, which I'm going to go over and everything. But at quarterback, we know, Mahomes. I completely get that. Take him where you want. I wouldn't take him first overall, but wherever you take him, he's going to go early in your season long. But the good thing about DFS, we can take him anytime. So that's plus. Chad Henne came in a little bit there. Anthony Gordon, Shane. Between third and fourth string, someone's going to get, yanked. They're going to be gone. Mahomes and Henne are pretty much locked there. Mahomes, obviously, for sure. Running backs here, we've got Clyde Edwards-Elaire, Darrell Williams, Jerick McKinnon, and Darwin Thompson. Damian Williams was cut, I believe, back in March. He's now with the Bears. Edwards-Elaire really, and then Le'Veon Bell came in last season. Didn't leave on good terms. He didn't get used in the Super Bowl. Didn't have good things to say. But yeah, it's really gone downhill for the best running back that was in the league at the time in his prime. But yeah, so Elaire really came on last year. People didn't know what to do. He was there. Was he going to get the start? Then Le'Veon Bell came in. Then were they going to split it? And they weren't. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, dominant. He is fantastic. Would I take him in the first 5? I don't know how early he's going to go yet. Mock drafts have started. Some people's drafts have started. So I will dig into that a little bit more for other videos, but we've got him there. He's great. The problem is there's so many targets to go around on this team. You never know how they're going to utilize the running back as much. Still love him. Don't think he'll dominate like one of the top running backs just because of how mobile Mahomes is. When Mahomes is healthy, we know exactly what we're getting out of them. So looking at that, I can understand there. Tyreek Hill, we know what we're getting out of him. So moving to wide receivers here. As you can see, the top 3 are Tyreek Hill, Nicole Hardman, and Demarcus Robinson. If you don't have like the top 7 or 8 spots in your season-long draft, you're probably going to miss out on Hill. He's going to go pretty early. But I really love Nicole Hardman here. I think you could probably get him in the 2nd round, just depending on where he's going to go, depending on when you draft and what news comes out. Nicole Hardman, I think he's going to really step up this year. They lost Sammy Watkins. He's gone. We do have Byron Pringle. He can come in a little bit. Antonio Callaway is there. Cornell Powell. It just depends on, the depth chart, how it goes. But obviously, Demarcus Robinson is there as well. And we know, and we've seen it. Tyreek Hill, all of the wide receivers, I think Kansas City is going to be one of the highest scoring teams, if not the highest scoring team this year. They're going to pass the ball around a ton. Any wide receiver on this team could be a viable option for your season long. Obviously, Tyreek Hill's number 1. He's going to go pretty early. I think you can go Hardman. I think he's going to step it up with Watkins being gone. I think Demarcus Robinson is there. I don't like him as much as Hardman. I don't think he's going to have the biggest of big games like they can, but they've utilized him in the special teams as well for punt returns. So that's always a thing you can look at there. Then all of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string you can check out on the screen here. Looking at that. Tight end, Travis Kelsey. Best tight end in the game. No doubt. I love George Kittle from Iowa. Love George Kittle. But it's Travis Kelsey. And we'll dig into the numbers when we get into the matchup tool. But honestly, depending on how your strategy goes, how many leagues you're in, if you were to ask me, do you think I should take Travis Kelsey with the 1-1 pick? I'm not against it. That might be a crazy strategy. I'm not against it. He's not going to make it out of the 1st round. You're going to get your running backs out of there. We know that. If you have multiple leagues and you have an opportunity, take your normal 2 running backs in a row, whatever you want to do. If you can grab Kelsey in the 1st round, build that. Now, people in DFS, stacking is always a viable option, especially in tournaments. And we'll have other videos about that in the next couple of months. But just kind of looking at this, if somehow you can finagle around and get Tyreek Hill and Mahomes, or you can get Travis Kelsey and Mahomes somehow, I'm not against that at all. Not against that at all. And people ask, well, what about the bye weeks? They have the same bye week, blah, blah, blah. Screw the bye weeks. There's a reason there's a waiver wire. Screw the bye weeks. That does not matter. For years, people have been like, you don't want to have X amount of people on buys at the same time. At this point, guys, gals, it does not matter. You can find the diamond in the rough there. You're going to find those players that are going to dominate. Was it last year or 2 years ago? Sammy Watkins, when he was on the Chiefs, he's always good to have that one massively breakout game. Then, undoubtedly, people go to the waiver wire, pick him up, or spend a lot of fab money on him, and then he doesn't do much the rest of the year. definitely could see that moving forward. That is definitely something we can look at there. So just kind of looking at this, I don't mind Travis Kelsey there. And to be honest, just kind of looking. Now, we're not going to really dig into like the defensive side because, unless you, I'm not really a big fan of defensive players on fantasy. It's just not that big of a deal to me. But if your team does have a kicker, you can always look at Harrison Butker. You got to think about it this way. If you're going to take a kicker, you got to decide where you're going to take him, and you got to decide how fast you're going to pull the trigger there. Harrison Butker probably should, anyway, be one of the top kicking he should have one of the highest scores, if not the highest score for kickers. You got to think about how many touchdowns the Chiefs' offense is going to do. They had a blaring hole in their offensive line, and they brought in Orlando Brown, so I really like that there. We saw that during the Super Bowl that their offensive line, they weren't doing much in the Super Bowl. Mahomes was hurt. Yes, he did get surgery. He's good to go. And they shored up some of their offensive line there. I think they're going to dominate. You have to think about how many points the Chiefs are going to score. And if they don't go for 2 points, which most of the time they're not going to, that's going to rely on the kicker. You got to think about how many extra points Butker's going to get you. You got to think of how many field goals he's going to get you. So looking all of that, definitely love that there. And, what's not to like about this team? That's my question. What is not to like about this Kansas City Chiefs offense? Fantasy, DFS. Absolutely love DFS. As you know, that's our bread and butter. That's what we do. But this is our matchup tool. Now, if you haven't been here before, our matchup tool goes through an extensive list of everything that you can think of. Let me make it bigger for you so you can see it. As it's at 100 and I'll just put it at 150% right now. What you can't see, let me take myself off the screen real quick so you can see. As you can see, we've got week 1. Now, I have added some things, guys. So last year, what we had the defense. So what we would do is we'd have the defense here. Then we would have how many fantasy points the defense gave up per game. Then we had the offense and how many fantasy points the offense was scoring on average. And that was pretty much it. But we have added a bunch of stuff here. So this is what you're looking for. These are defenses you want to target against. So with this matchup tool, you can sort this table however you want. For instance, the Detroit Lions gave up 38 touchdowns. They gave up 4,700 yards through the air against opposing quarterbacks all season. And then you can see rushing. So you can kind of break it down, and we have it broken down. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. That's all there. You can see how many 2-point conversions they've given up, how many sacks they got. So if you can find a team that had least amount of sacks, but they gave up the most amount of touchdowns, yada, 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 you're getting 2 months. As of right now, you're getting 2 months to build this out. We're going to throw this on the website for you. These numbers will change. Now, let me preface this by saying that obviously things change over the year. The draft happened. The defenses are going to be different. The offenses are going to be different. But we don't have anything else to go off of other than last year's stats. Now, you can kind of dig into that and see, maybe you see this matchup tool, then you see, Team A didn't do anything on defense. If their coach is the same and everything, you can kind of expect the same. Now, last year was a weird year. A lot of people did opt out of the year. Some defense, some offense, some notable names when they come back, which they will be back this year, that obviously can change the dynamic of the team. But this is what we have to go off of week 1. Pretty much what we have to go off of for the first, third of the season, because we don't have anything else to go over. But this is the thing we added the most, which I think has the most value to you guys. So the defense. how many fantasy points total they gave up on the season. Then it's broken down by how many DraftKings points, depending on what you play. As you know, FanDuel and DraftKings scoring, maybe you don't, they're different. The scores are going to be different. That's why when we build you optimal lineups on the website, people are like, why don't you have the same players? The scoring's different. So, Cam Newton's going to have a better game on DraftKings if he's a starter and he doesn't cry than, on FanDuel, because you're going to get more points. So as you can see, Detroit gave up 406 total DraftKings points to quarterbacks all last year. 386 on FanDuel. So there's just a little bit of discrepancy with the point system. Then we've broken it down to how many fantasy points per game, how many DraftKings fantasy points per game, and how many FanDuel fantasy points per game there as well. Now, I did notice I forgot to add, I will have a category right here in between the quarterback and the games played of how many fantasy points per game they were averaging last year. Now, the problem is Jalen Hurts didn't play the full season. Jimmy G didn't play the full season. Darnold didn't play the full season. As of right now, Deshaun Watson's there. I don't know what the hell is going to go on with him. If not, that's going to change the entire dynamic. The entire dynamic of the Texans offense. That is something we're waiting on. We don't hear anything about it. So there's a lot of news that you might not think about. So that being said, Trevor Lawrence didn't play at all, but he should be the starter. Even though, the quarterback's coach said, we don't know yet, it's going to be a competition. It's not. It's not. Trevor Lawrence is a starter, obviously. Carson Wentz moving from the Eagles to the Colts. It's going to be different. He's going to be back with his old coach. But didn't have a good season last year. These numbers are a little skewed. They will change. So you got to think the mindset of when you're building your, season long, when you're building your DFS lineups, how's it going to go? Coaching changes, roster changes, quarterback changes, whatever it is, that's what we have. So looking at that, as you can see, like I said, we will go over the Chiefs and we will look at all things Chiefs in this video. So this is week 1. So let me just filter this, and you can filter it the same exact way. This is an Excel spreadsheet. It will be on the website as an embedded table, and I'll put it in there, and if needed, you can download it as well. This is part of the content that we put out every single week. I do this by hand. Excuse me. I do all of this by hand. So I go onto ESPN, I find the stats, I build this out. There are easier ways to do it. I know you can scrape data and everything, but I find this very therapeutic. The games end on Sunday. I get the stats building ready to go, and we go through there. So the one thing that hopefully happened, I don't know how to say this nicely. The thing I loved about last year with COVID during football, how games would be postponed until Tuesday, or we had 3 Monday night football games, or hell, we had a Wednesday night football game, then we had a Thursday night game. We had so much football. It was so fun building lineups for, Sunday. We go Thursday only, then you go Thursday, Sunday, then you go Thursday through Monday, then you go Sunday, Monday, and then Monday, Tuesday, or Monday, Thursday. There was so much football to go around. Super excited about it. Like I've said in the past, football has been our best DFS sport for subscribers. Bar none, hands down, the best sport we've had. There's a lot of variance with NBA. As you've seen, the scores for NBA this past season were absolutely ridiculous. 450, 480, that is absolutely stupid. When I first started DFS back in, I want to say it was 2014, you would be taking down a tournament 280 points. That's it. Just the way they've done scoring and, the prize pools and everything, it's crazy. But football has been our number one. We've had multiple $25,000 plus subscriber winners. Eddie, if he's watching this, he's been with us for a long time. He won $18,000, and it's just a lot of great information has been given out throughout the years. We've been around since 2014, like I said, and we're super excited about it. So going back to this, let's just get through here. We'll go Patrick Mahomes there. Facing the Seahawks. Last year, the Seahawks defense, it was not good. They gave up 4,800 yards to quarterbacks. They only gave up 23 touchdowns, though. They did have 14 interceptions, did give up two two-point conversions, and 46 sacks there. So while they were there, the secondary was some high-scoring games Seattle was involved with. Very high-scoring games. Rushing on quarterbacks, 81 rushes, 330 yards, and 5 touchdowns. That's great for Mahomes there. Fantastic for Mahomes, as he's should be perfect from his surgery, and his foot should be good to go to start the season, obviously. Looking at fantasy points-wise, Seattle gave up a total of 315 fantasy points. That'd be like on Yahoo or ESPN for season long. 354 points on DraftKings, 329 points on FanDuel. They only gave up an average of 19.7 fantasy points per game total, with DraftKings being 22.2 and FanDuel being 20.6. So then looking at Mahomes here, we know what we're going to get out of him. As you can see, it's green because he's one of the best, if not the best, quarterbacks. Played 15 games on the year, 390 completions on 588 attempts, 66.3%. 4,740 yards, had 38 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions, and was sacked 22 times. Now, I did say, and like I said, their offensive line was not good. It had a lot of holes. They had a lot of people playing out of position. Even in the Super Bowl, they had a lot of people playing out of position. So he had 308 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. He was hurt. He's had surgery. He's gotten it fixed. So that is definitely something to be looking at. So if you just want to compare him to the rest of the league here and seeing how many yards from there that they've had, he had the second most amount of passing yards, right behind Deshaun Watson. Even, playing one less game, he only had less than 100 passing yards than him. The completion percentage is a little bit different there. But yeah, Watson was on another level last year in many, many facets of life, apparently. Or not. We don't know. Still waiting. Story kind of just disappeared. But you can see, so Mahomes ranked number 2 on passing yards there. If you want to do it by touchdowns, he was number 4 behind Rodgers, Brady, and Wilson. But not by much. He was Aaron Rodgers, MVP, dominated. Mahomes had 10 less touchdowns than Rodgers, but only 2 less than Brady and Wilson right there. If you want to go by interceptions, outside of, they didn't start. So, you can take this out of there. He was there at 6, where the tops were at 4. So, and that's not a huge thing to go by. But yeah, the rushing yards is going to be the thing that's different because he was hurt. So, and like I said, let's say you're trying to build your lineups on FanDuel. You're trying to build it on DraftKings. So DraftKings, who gives up the most amount of fantasy points there? So the Falcons got crushed last year. Detroit was just as bad. So you can kind of look at this. You're building your lineups around there. You want to check it out. You want to stack. Right there, Jimmy Garoppolo only played 6 games last year. Was hurt, obviously, but it's got the best matchup in Week 1. We're not going to talk about him, though. We are talking about the Kansas City Chiefs and how they're going to dominate this year. So kind of looking at the running back situation now. Now, what I've done in this matchup tool is most teams will have, 1 or 2 running backs that are a feasible option for DFS or season long together. Some are only going to have 1. So we've gone through that. You can see the running back situation here. So just kind of looking and seeing who, let's just, if we sort by the largest, which I've already done here, you can kind of go down. You want to find the Chiefs. Chiefs are right here. So looking at this, it's Clyde, Edwards, Elaire there, and that's kind of, so let's move this over here. So, kind of looking at that, what are we looking at here? So let me move this over here so I can check this out while you guys are working this. Looking at the running back situation here, let's just target, let's go the Chiefs. So I was wrong about, definitely I was wrong on the quarterback. I will fix that. They're playing the Browns week 1, not the Seahawks. So I don't know where I got that from, but I will definitely look at that. But nonetheless, just kind of looking at this, that'll obviously be updated. It's a living document, like I said. Cleveland Browns gave up 322 total rushes, 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns to the opposing running backs there. On receiving for running backs, you can see they gave up 83 targets, had 66 receptions on 83 targets, only 1 touchdown. The fantasy points wise here, total, then the fantasy points per game, you can see there. Then we bring in Clyde Edwards-Elaire. Now 13 games played. I believe he sat 1 game. He was hurt for a couple, and I believe he sat 1 game towards the end of the season when, they were already playoff bound, which is always a thing to look at there. In 13 games, had 181 attempts, 800 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had 36 receptions, 297 yards, and 1 touchdown with a total of 5 touchdowns. Being a rookie, pretty damn good. Now, like I said, with the depth chart, who you're going to look at, what you're going to be expecting, you're going to have Clyde Edwards-Helaire right off the bat. Darrell Williams is there. Jerick McKinnon, who kind of interchangeably are 1 and 2, or 2nd and 3rd string. Really depends. And Darwin Thompson, I mean, I'm not really expecting much there. But in fantasy-wise, or in DFS especially, CEH is pretty much the only running back that I'd be targeting here week 1. I don't see a reason for you to even think about anybody else on this team. Now, looking at that, then you can kind of compare together how close, where are they at. So let's just say you're playing on DraftKings, largest to smallest, and you're looking for the Chiefs, and then you come all the way down here, and not the best matchup for him. Pretty much at the bottom there. You can see, then what we've got here is fantasy points per game that this, team had last year. So kind of looking at that, there's a lot of factors to go into your season long. There's a lot of factors to go into DFS, just building around these teams here. So then we move to the wide receiver position, which you can't see on the screen because it's so small, but let's get it here. Got that. So, like I said, just with running backs, you've got wide receivers. You've got 1st, 2nd, and 3rd wide receiver on the team, depending on what team you're playing. There's a lot of them that are going to have some fantastic options, and that's what we've got going on here as well. Playing the Browns, let's check this out. Looking at the Browns, they gave up 333 targets, gave up 204 receptions on those targets, and 3,000 yards and 15 touchdowns to wide receivers all season last year. Total of 648.8 DraftKings points, 519.8. So you can see the difference, the points right here. This is what I'm talking about. So the half-point PPR, the scoring format, DraftKings favors wide receivers drastically over FanDuel. So that's something to think about when you're building. So that's what I really like about this. Instead of having to do 2 of these matchup tools, one for DraftKings, one for FanDuel, we've put it into one for this season, and I hope you guys are happy about it. So much time and effort go into making this each week. Liking these videos throughout each week definitely helps me out morally. Subscribing to our website, getting a subscription for the week obviously helps me out monetarily, but the likes and the appreciation that you guys show for these videos throughout the year will help my soul. That's why I took a 2-month break. I needed a break from NBA. I needed a break from MLB because I was putting so much time and effort into it, and I wasn't getting anything back. Like, there wasn't views, so I'm trying to help you. NFL, though, is my passion. I absolutely love NFL. I'm going to do as much as I possibly can for you guys throughout the NFL season, and I'm really excited to bring all of this to you. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I mean, Tyreek Hill, he's going to go first, first 7 players off the board there. Dominated last year. The Chiefs, so that's kind of something you can look at. So the Browns defense were giving up an average of 40.6 DraftKings points and an average of 32.5 FanDuel points, while the Chiefs were averaging 35.9 fantasy points to the wide receiver. So that absolutely shows domination. The Browns were dominated. Tyreek Hill, he only played 15 games, 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns. Should have had 16. If you remember, or if you weren't watching, in the one game he was thrown a ball, he kind of fell down, it hit him, it hit his arm, his leg, and then he caught it, and he didn't realize he caught it, and no one realized he caught it. Should be another touchdown. Not the case here. But yeah, so with a healthy Tyreek, with a healthy Patrick Mahomes, healthy Nicole Hardman and Demarcus Robinson, this wide receiver core could be in store for a monster year, if not week 1 against the Browns. Nicole Hardman there, 16 games, 41 receptions on 62 targets, 560 yards, 4 touchdowns. Does not take into effect or account that he will be the number 1 special teams player as of now. Could it change? It could, but he's going to be on that side of the ball as well. So as long as they stay healthy, a lot of great things out of this core. And then we even have Demarcus Robinson here, 16 games, 45 receptions on 59 targets, 466 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That could change. Everyone should bump up, besides Hill. Everyone in the wide receiver core should bump up with the, Sammy Watkins out of the way. Now, Sammy Watkins was always hurt. I get that. That's what you're going to tell me. But he's gone, so he's not got that roster space where, maybe he'll go in there, but he'll be a decoy or whatever, which would take away from Hardman and Robinson. Not the case anymore. So absolutely love the Chiefs all year, especially in week 1. Then if you want to see how they rank up against, the rest of the pack here, just kind of, let's say, DraftKings fantasy points, who's given up the most there. Then we go through there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have the 10th best matchup here for wide receivers on DraftKings for the week 1, how it shakes out. But they're still in a fantastic spot here. Then we move to the tight end. I love Kelsey. I think who doesn't love Kelsey? Really. Who doesn't love Kelsey? So as you can see, the Browns here, let's just kind of looking. They gave up 90 receptions to tight ends last year on 127 targets. You can't see that. Let me make it bigger. And let me get myself off the screen for you. And again, you will be able to see this. So, looking at this, 127 targets, 90 receptions, 900 yards, 10 touchdowns. Fantasy points wise, per game on DraftKings, they were giving up 15.4 and 12.6 there, while the Chiefs, aka Travis Kelsey, was averaging 17.2 fantasy points per game from that position. He played 15 games. Again, he sat one of the games due to them already being on the playoffs, so numbers are a little bit skewed, but not much. 105 receptions on 145 targets, 1,416 yards, 11 touchdowns. Wouldn't be surprised if that number bumps up again this year. If you want to see how he ranks amongst all of them, if you want to go by receptions, only Darren Waller beat him out, who had a monster year, played all 16 games, only beat him by 2 receptions, same amount of targets, and 300 less yards and less touchdowns. If you want to go by targets to see what tight end was targeted the most last year, same thing. You've got tied at 145, and then we jump all the way down to Logan Thomas, who's at 110, so 35 less receptions there. Then you go by yards. Travis Kelsey was the number 1 tight end by yards, 1,400 yards, 300 more than Waller, and 2 more touchdowns there. And then ties Robert Tonyan for touchdowns with 11 on the year. So that is how we've broke down the Kansas City Chiefs for DFS purposes. Now, I've had people ask me to kind of do predictions, projections, whatever you want to call it, on how I think it's going to go down and how the Chiefs are going to go this year. So let's do it. Let's break it down a little bit and see what we can bring to the table for you guys in the breakdown of the Kansas City Chiefs. So we're going to look at their schedule. Who I think they can, go. How's it going to go? They're going to make the playoffs. Unless something drastic happens, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. They're probably going to win their division. I don't see how, they don't win their division. But yeah, again, guys, questions, comments, concerns about these videos, please. It's going to be a lot of videos going down, a lot of time and effort into this. Please let me know. So, week 1 against the Browns, at home, I think they're 1-0 there. I think that's how it happens. Week 2 against Baltimore, it's at Baltimore. I still think the Chiefs going to go, 2-0 there. Lamar Jackson, he's good. We know he's good. The problem is he runs the ball a lot, and he's not he's not the most accurate. So if you kind of look at quarterbacks, let's see. Lamar Jackson was 64.4% completion percentage there. He only threw for 2,700 yards. Lamar Jackson loves to run the ball. He's going to have to spread it to his offense to be able to beat this if the Chiefs are healthy. So I think week 2, they go 2-0 there. Week 3 against the Chargers, Justin Herbert's there. They've got Austin Eckler. They've got some support there. I think the Chiefs will be 3-0 after week 3. Week 4, looking at against the Eagles, easy win there, 4-0 there. Week 5, at home against Buffalo. The defense is going to have to step up. Josh Allen's been fantastic. I think by week 5, at home, I think Buffalo takes this one. I think they're 4-1 there. Week 6 against Washington, W. I think, 5-1. Week 7 against Tennessee, again, this could, there's a lot of things to go here. Ryan Tannehill's been dominant. You've got, Derrick Henry. I still think they go to Nashville, boogie down, take that win, 6-1. Week 8 against the Giants, 7-1. Week 9 against Green Bay, is Aaron Rodgers who? If it's Aaron Rodgers at the helm, I think Green Bay takes this. Something to wait on. I don't know what's happening there. We'll see. As a Green Bay fan, what are you doing? I get it. I understand. But let's go. I think this one will be dependent on who's the quarterback for Green Bay. If it's Aaron Rodgers, they're gonna have their second loss. If it's not, Chiefs are gonna roll. Week 10 against the Raiders, that is Sunday Night Football, Chiefs. Week 11 against Dallas, this one could be a shootout. Hopefully everyone's healthy by week 11. I definitely looking at that. Would that be Thanksgiving? No, that's not Thanksgiving. That's be the Sunday before. Probably looking at, and that's crazy because the Chiefs don't even play Thursday Night Football until the 15th. 15th week, which is nuts. Usually, they're in prime time. Well, like Thursday night. But yeah, so looking at that, I think Dallas could be a shootout. Could go either way. I'm going to say the Chiefs take it, though. Week 13 against Denver, Chiefs. Week 14 against the Raiders again, Chiefs. 15 against Chargers. It just depends on how it's going. Could see the Chiefs there. Pittsburgh, if Pittsburgh's healthy, I think this could be a pretty good game. If Ben is still there, slinging the ball. I think this one could be a shootout. I could see Pittsburgh taking this. Number 17 against the Cincinnati, the Bengals there, probably the Chiefs in January. And number 18 against Denver, the Chiefs there as well. So, shoot, guys, yeah. I think the Chiefs probably at most lose 3 games unless injuries ravage them. Could lose 4, but it's pretty much it there for my thought process. Just kind of looking preseason. Week 1's August 14th. I mean, that's a month away, guys. So we're super close. But yeah, that is the Kansas City Chiefs in fantasy in a nutshell. Hopefully this helps you. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you have not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Every little bit helps. And be on the lookout. Hit that bell notification so you guys can see when we get these videos out. Got about 2 months to build this out with all of the teams. So we're looking at 30 plus videos just for that. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'll answer them down below. You can always follow on all social media, which will be down below. I do have a Discord channel. I will link that down below, and we can start talking football there in the football channel. Season long, DFS, whatever it is. If you guys are interested in that season long league, anywhere between $50 to $100 buy-in, would like at least 10 teams. 12 is the bread and butter. But if we get 20 plus, we can make 2 leagues. So it's up to you. So if you are interested in getting those leagues or getting in a league, hit me up, email me, support@fantasyteamadvisor.com. Tell me, subject line, interested in fantasy football league, and then the buy-in you'd be comfortable with. So everyone will have paid me before the draft, or you don't draft. That's the big key there too. So that's all I've got in this video. Hopefully it helps you out. If it did, hit that like button, and be on the lookout for our other breakdowns and other fantasy-related videos. Good luck this season drafting. If you've got draft questions, definitely ask below as well. And let me know what your thoughts are down below on the Chiefs' 2021 season, what their record's going to be, and how dominant they're going to be this year. Good luck, guys and gals, and peace out.